Wanted
There
to
we
give
go.
everyone a fair warning. We also, with our group, Jen and I and the others that are involved in our project, are going to just be recording some cutaways and stuff so that we can use it as we are editing. So if you've got any concerns with that, give us a shout now. But otherwise, we're just getting some general shots of, kind of the tiles of the faces. And I think Jen's got a couple questions she's going to ask of the group. And so we're just going to be gathering those responses.
And with that, allow us to welcome everybody. My name is Jim Cressman. I am the host, and I am very honored and very pleased to welcome Jennifer Titus and Rebecca Lindstrom, two investigative reporters that have found our calling, and they have been interviewing some of us veterans across the country to get our voices heard to the right people, to get Inclusion Body Myositis recognized by the Department of Veterans Affairs. And we are quite excited to see what is all happening here. And with that, Jennifer, I would ask that welcome this morning, and thank you for being here and thank you for joining us. So I'm going to ask you to introduce yourself and explain how you found us. What happened to find your way here?
My name's Jennifer Titus, and I'm an investigative reporter down in Tampa at the CBS affiliate. And so we're always looking for stories we can do, stories that there might be a problem with that we can hopefully find a solution to. And so I had watched a story about veterans and trying to get Agent Orange benefits, and I had reached out to Hill and Ponton because they were mentioned in the article, and I had just asked them, is there something else that we should be looking into? Maybe something that hasn't been told yet. The story hasn't been told yet. And they got right back to me and they said, you should really start looking into IBM, this rare disease, and how it's not recognized by the VA. So that's when I started talking to Carrie Baker and Ursula McCabe. And I said, hey, if I'm going to do this story, I need a few veterans. I need to tell their stories. And I said, I need them from Florida because I thought this was just going to be a Florida-based story. And they're like, actually, like, we have some in Florida, but you really need to talk to, I think they said Jim Cressman. They said Augie in Georgia. Larry was in Florida. And so I was like, oh, wow. So this is a lot bigger than just Florida. This is a national problem. So I went out to Colorado. I made contact with Jim. And I said, hey, I hear you're, behind, kind of lead some of this fight. So I went out to Colorado, interviewed Jim. I contacted Rebecca, who was on this call. And I said, hey, I have this vet in the Georgia area near you. This is what I'm working on. And so I think at that point, we're like, okay, so we have this, this story and we have this problem, and let's see why the VA doesn't recognize it. And then so many of you guys reached out to us. We had a family in Portland reach out to us. And then we had uh, Larry in Jacksonville. So we're like, hey, we have all these great stories. Let's try to do something nationally. So we're putting together a project right now. There's 5 of us reporters from across the country who have interviewed 5 different veterans. And we're looking to have that all together by mid-May. We should be launching. I don't have an exact date yet. I don't think we have an exact date yet, but when we do, we will let you guys know about it. So because of the stories you guys haven't been able to share with us, we have reached out to the VA. Rebecca's talked to the VA. We've talked to lawmakers. Representative Anna Paulina Luna, who's a veteran herself, she was trying to push for an executive order. Representative Bill Orakis was pushing just for information. He went and talked to Secretary Collins. He knows about the study that's supposed to be completed in the end of July in 2027, and that's what they keep pushing us back to. We're hoping maybe something will be done sooner. We're not sure, but at least the VA says that because of your guys' stories and us reaching out to them, that this is a priority for them right now, so that they are paying attention. So that's good news. So we thank you guys for that.
Well, we thank you for that. You are the one that is making this happen, and you have succeeded where we have been unsuccessful.
We are hoping Rebecca, Heather, Chris, Kyle, all of us are hoping that our efforts are. So yes, we have let them know. They know. So we couldn't do it without you guys sharing your stories. So we really appreciate it.
I'm sorry, go ahead, please.
Yeah, no, go for it. I was just going to ask. We want to like anecdotally show how many people this affects, because the studies, we do have a few studies out there and some numbers that we've come up to, but we just thought it'd be really great for the number of vets that are on this call right now, if I could just anecdotally ask 2 questions, and if you guys just raise your hands or say yes from the 2 questions, that's all I really need, Jim.
Okay, and I see there's more than 50 of us here this morning, so
Perfect.
you have your magnetic stories here have drawn in a great deal of people. Uh, Rebecca, you're recording us, so thank you for doing so. Could you share with us now? You have been directly in contact with the VA, is that correct?
That is correct. Yeah, and they asked for an awful lot of information and then gave us very little in return. So I'll be very candid.
Welcome to our world. Yeah.
Yeah. Along the way in the discussions, it was expressed to me by their media representative. He just kept saying, I'm working on it. I'm working on it. I can let you know that there are a lot of eyes on this topic right now. And then Representative McCormick, who is friends with Secretary Collins, also knows Augie. He had several conversations with him. You know, in those conversations, the main sentiment seemed to be that we feel like the research is potentially there to make this presumptive, but we're not going to move until we get that report in July of 2027. So I know that there's a lot of interest and effort to try to get this sooner. I don't know what the outcome is going to be. But if 2027 is the ultimate benchmark, then, you know, that's the feedback we're getting right now. But there does seem to be a consensus that people are paying attention to this issue.
Well, it's something that we have fought for a decade, individually and collectively over the last 5 years. We have made every effort that we can possibly think of to get the attention of the Veterans Administration, and most specifically the Veterans Benefits Administration. And it is something that within that struggle and frustration, we had a Zoom meeting of a few of us that involved Hill and Ponton. And I had made the comment that I'd like to do a video on them, a documentary, and I was going to just record segmented comments from some of the veterans. And when I made that comment, Matt Hill from Hill and Ponton said, Jim, don't do that. We'll do it for you. And he said, we've got a whole production facility within our company. And they proceeded to do the documentary that's now on YouTube called Not the Life We Wanted. And they did a tremendous job. And I understand that that's sort of was the initial, the genesis of this whole thing is you found that video. And so we wanted to do it to get somebody's attention, and we have. And so we're so very grateful that it worked out. So I'm looking for any of the legislative aides that for Luke Burleson. I don't see his name up there, but we'll continue to scan. But are there any questions that you would like to ask the group?
Yes, I just have 2. 2 questions. Like I said, to kind of just show how many veterans that this does impact. So my first question, you can just raise your hand or say yes. Oh, I'm echoing. it, how many of you guys are veterans or your spouse is a veteran and you've been diagnosed with IBM?
Oh, I think that would cover pretty much everybody here.
So
Hey,
I just need everybody
Jennifer,
to raise their hands or say yes or whatever, unmute. If
Jennifer,
I'll re-answer, I'll re-ask that if I can.
hi. Hey, let me interject real quick. I can make you a quick poll since not
Okay.
everybody is on camera to raise their
Okay.
hand and knows
Okay.
how to raise their hand.
Okay.
Are you or Rebecca able to put the questions you want on the poll in the chat and I'll just copy and paste?
Okay. Yeah, because all I see is myself because I think I'm on the phone, so
Yeah.
I can't see everybody that's in it. So I don't know if Jim says he can see everybody and he's recording. So I'll ask it again and then I'll do a poll. Then I'm gonna ask a second question because he says he can see everybody. And so I'm hoping that will come off in video that everybody, if they say yes.
Well,
yeah.
we have about a dozen that don't have their camera on.
Got
so,
it. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Or if they want to, unmute and just say yes or something, whatever you guys want to say. Okay, so I'm gonna ask the question again. How many of you guys are veterans that have been diagnosed with IBM?
Yes.
Yeah, I would venture to say that pretty much everybody here
Okay.
falls into that category.
Perfect. The people saying yes is perfect. And the second question is, how many that have been diagnosed with IBM have been denied disability benefits from the VA?
Yes.
At one
Yes.
time or another, yeah, we all have. And
Yes.
some of us have gotten it through
Yes.
appeal. Some of us are still waiting.
Yes. So how many are we looking at that have been denied, Jim? Is that everybody? Is that more than 50?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
there's only one veteran that I know of who received his service connection on his initial claim. That's only one out of maybe 200. The rest of us have all had to go through that maze of bureaucratic denials.
That's literally all I needed. I will let everybody know that Jim has sent an email, I think, to everybody around when we launched this. We were trying to do on digital. We were trying to show the amount of veterans, and we were trying to show people's pictures from when they were in the military, and then be able to kind of click on it, see the person's name, and see when they served and how long they've been denied the benefits for. If you are comfortable sharing a photo of either your time in the military or a photo now, we are still collecting those. So I think we have about 10 now. So if anybody that feels comfortable, please just take my email from Jim. Rebecca's in Atlanta, her team is producing those. So it'll just be, I think it'll really hit home on social media for people to see the faces and the veterans impacted. So
Yeah, indeed.
Jennifer, quick question for the group before, and if you want to ask this, Jennifer, that's fine as well. But I know she asked if you had been denied, but I want to know how many of you, and if you want to make this a poll so we actually have a true count of based off how many people are here, but how many of you were denied and did not get your benefits until you appeared before a board for a hearing?
Rebecca, let me sort of
If you want to
lay out a sort of a
feel free.
yeah. The scenario is typically when we put it in a claim, it goes through a screening process that normally ends up in a denial, and that then there's an appeal, and that appeal then will sometimes take. I'm getting something here on my screen. Forgive me. But that appeal, we usually goes through in a very lengthy process, and that's when you get denials and appeals again. You got it. We've had veterans here that have gone through multiple appeals and denials, and most all of us have done that. So it is an imperfect process within the VA to award a veteran service connection and disability benefits, I had a phone call from Chris Vanderveen, and I explained to him that he called me back and wanted an explanation of why was I granted my service connection in 2023 but did not receive benefits. And I said, if you read through that, it'll show that even though that I got my service connection, the VA had rated me at 0% disability. And I had to go through several months, maybe a year and a half or 2 years, of special medical exams for them to determine my level of disability before I got my disability benefits. It is an imperfect situation. It is a complicated situation. It is a million-piece jigsaw puzzle. And but I hope that answers your question a little more definitively. But it is something where we get denied, we appeal, we get denied again. It's a very arduous process that we have to go through.
I wanted to just jump in. I launched the poll. It's got 3 questions. It should have come up on your screen. We've had about 65% of people on the call have answered that. If you don't see the poll, you can hit the 3 little dots that are in a circle above the word more, and you can answer it then, and I'll share results. But I'll tell you right now, 100% so far, yes with IBM. And 87% yes, denied a claim. And the last one is 60% no to the hearing and 40% yes to the hearing. But we've only had 65% participate in the poll, so I'm going to leave it open for a little bit longer. Back to you, Jim.
Rebecca, where again is that question there, that poll that on the more button, and I see which icon within that more button should be
Polls/quizzes.
I see it in the middle there. Okay, there we go.
The third question, though, it doesn't say IBM. Some of us, when you go
Oh,
in
it
front of a
is.
board,
Oh, okay.
when you go in front of a board, you may get approved for tinnitus or your left finger, something like that. So you have to
be more specific.
Okay.
And one thing
We are going to assume that it's IBM, since that's the topic today. If you got that wrong, or if you answered that with something like tinnitus in mind, we can change your answer.
Yeah, I see the results of the poll. I just didn't see where I could enter my response to it.
Well, it came up while you were talking, so I'm not certain. You might have just X'd out of it.
I understand.
Yeah.
One of the things that I wanted to add for Rebecca and Jennifer is that simultaneously, as we are talking, there is a review that is happening right now by law by the National Academies of Science, Engineering, and Medicine. The Veterans Administration had basically their hands tied to make a disability presumptive. And I say that because when the PACT Act was passed, it requires the secretary to have the disease or the disability or condition reviewed by the national academies before he can verify it as a presumptive disability. That process has been going on since January now, and the VA has told us that it is something that they have requested the national academies. Again, by law, they are required to do so, but they don't want to hear the results, and I quote, no earlier than July of 2027. And it makes you a little, we've waited this long, we'll wait a little bit longer. But was there any discussion or thought given to contacting the national academies about their review, given the time that your efforts are underway?
I believe we have reached out to them. We haven't heard a response from them, or we believe the National Institute of Health is doing a study too. But the VA and all of our lawmakers, that's the study they keep on referring us back to. About lawmakers believe that it will eventually be presumptive, but it's going to take for that study to finish. And what we're hearing is that the earliest is July 2027. So
Yeah.
everybody is thinking, and so that's just what we'll have to stay on to see around that time, if that's been published, if that's been completed or whatnot. But that's the date that everybody keeps telling us.
There are a number of contacts that are instrumental within that review that I have contact information. If you would like to talk to the people that are the veterans representative, the VA representatives within that National Academy study, I have the contact information for them, and also the senior director at the National Academies. If you want to pursue that, I've got the contact information, and I can share that with you if you desire. Alicia, you've got your hand up. Unmute yourself, please. We can.
Okay, great. Good morning, everyone. I wanted to point out about the National Academy study. I have a printout of it, and the focus is selected military-related exposures for 1990 to 1991 Gulf War and post 9/11 service members. Although this is a wonderful development and people are looking at it, and Inclusion Body Myositis is included in that list of diseases that they're looking at, the focus excludes practically everyone that I'm looking at on this screen, because I would venture to guess, looking at everyone, that you do not fall into the 1990 to 91 Gulf War or post 9/11 service category.
Yeah, thank you, Alicia. That's an issue that I brought up to the National Academies, and I wrote a letter to them. I provided quite a voluminous collection of supportive documentation, and I told them that we could not help but feel betrayed. That of everything we've gone through, there were 3 million servicemen that over the years in the Vietnam era that served, and we are being ignored. And I addressed that specifically. So that is definitely an issue, and it's one that hits home for all of us. Whether or not they do anything about that, I don't know. But it's something that again, we feel betrayed.
Yes.
That we served, and they're not paying attention to us. So
I did ask that question when I was interviewing Senator McCormick. His sense in his conversations with Secretary Collins was that if it is made presumptive, then it is made presumptive for all, regardless of year of service. And he did not see that as a disqualifying factor, but that is questions that we have raised in our discussions.
Good.
okay, Rebecca, thank you for bringing that up, because that is an important issue for all of us here. And it's been a struggle, and every time we seem to turn around, we get stopped. Um, we've we've gone through the claim process, and it is something where we know that this is a very rare disease, but the administrative side of the Veterans Administration, and even on the medical examination side, everybody involved in here is not. They are just not familiar with inclusion body myositis because of the rarity of this disease and the complexity of the disease. And as such, we have to educate these medical examiners when the time comes for us to have what they refer to as a compensation and pension, or C&P exam. That we have to educate these people as about what this disease is. Again, I got a phone call from Chris yesterday, and I was trying to find something here. I'll show you, but My final C&P exam came back. I have 22 separate disabilities rated for inclusion body myositis. I have a 10% disability for the index finger on my left hand because of inclusion body myositis. You do not get inclusion body myositis in your index finger. But they went through every joint because they don't know how to examine it. And the examination process is already established by the Veterans Benefits Administration to instruct the medical examiner to diagnose us as though we had degenerative arthritis. And they did exactly that. And the result is that I have 22 different disabilities. My elbow, every finger on my hand, my wrists, my hips. It's a ridiculous method of how they examine a veteran for IBM, and it's something that again, hopefully, we'll try to get this. We'll try to establish our own diagnostic code and our what they refer to as a DBQ, a disability benefits questionnaire that is specific for IBM. But right now, it is that the methods that they use contribute to the denial. They did not. They tried to examine us for arthritis. We don't have it. We don't get the benefits. We don't get the connection, and it starts the appeal process all over again. It is costing the veterans years and years of delays, and it is costing the VA and the American taxpayer millions of dollars because these C&P exams cannot be cheap. And they're repeating unnecessary, unrelated exams for us over and over and over again, and it's costing them a fortune.
So, Jim, I don't know what your agenda is for the meeting today. I know Jen, I think she's sitting in her car because she's at her son's basketball game. But I'm certainly able to stick around and represent until about 1 o'clock. What I think we'd love is just a chance to be the fly on the wall and see what you guys do in your regular meetings and just kind of act like we're not here.
Hard to do, but we'll accommodate your request there.
We appreciate you guys.
Well, believe me, the appreciation goes both ways
And
because yes, and ladies and gentlemen, understood. Jennifer, I know that your time is tight. I know that you've got to attend an event here for your son, and if you have any more requests for us, let us know. Is there anything that you need from us at this time?
I think the biggest thing was those if anybody wants to share their card, if anybody wants to share their story as well. We do have markets all over the country. I know Rachel is helping us get some veterans. We got a few names. If anybody is still willing to share and you're in a market where we have a station, you can just email me when you email your baseball card and say you would be willing to share your story. I can see where you're located at and to see if you're in one of our markets. Because when we do launch this, in May, it'll launch on streaming, it'll launch on digital, it'll launch on YouTube, but it gives an opportunity for the local broadcast station, if you are in one of our markets, to do a local story and then tease. And so it just gives more eyes and views to your guys' stories. I know some of you guys are private, which is 100% okay, but if anybody that would be willing to share your story on camera, just note it for me when you guys send in those cards.
Jennifer, if you wouldn't mind, just give us a real brief breakdown, a block diagram, if you would, on because I've noticed that you're with one network, then Rebecca is with yet another one, and then Chris Vanderveen is with yet another. How did all that come to be a joint effort?
So we're all owned by the same company. The company that owns us is Tegna. And so we're all owned by the same company. So even though we work for different affiliates and in different markets, since we are in the same company, we do monthly meetings. We've gotten to know each other. I know Rebecca just from working at the same station, or I've been working in Tampa for years. She's been working in Atlanta for years. We've met up at conferences. So I knew Rebecca. We had a relationship. I know Chris. I knew Kyle over in Portland. And so I've just built relationships with reporters in our company. We do group projects sometimes. And so I knew once I was getting your guys' stories that I wanted to let them know. And then Rebecca and I thought, hey, we have a lot here to do this national piece that will launch on streaming on all of our stations. I believe we own in 64 different markets. So that will launch on our stream, like I said, in YouTube and stuff. And so that's how we kind of came together to all work together. Even though maybe it's on an ABC in Portland and NBC in Atlanta, a CBS in Tampa, we're all owned by the same company. We just run on their affiliates. That's how it works.
Do you know if, and I don't mean to throw you a curveball here, but do you know if this would ever be picked up by the any national news network?
No, because we're not owned and operated by national, but since our company is based in so many markets, we say it's national because it'll air across the country at on all of our stations, streaming channels, and YouTube's, and you'll see it promoted on social media, on all of their social media. So it will be seen by a lot of people.
Wonderful. It's the more people that are aware of what we have gone through and what we're facing, the better. And you are the ones we thank for that. Your efforts here are meaningful. They are. It is so important to us to have somebody like you and Rebecca to further the message that we've been trying to get out there for the last 10 years. And Rich, I see your hand up. Good morning to you.
Good morning, sir, and good morning, everyone. I just put a note in the chat. I just want to say thank you to Rebecca and Jennifer for the incredible work you're doing to bring attention to this issue. The folks that are on this Zoom all have similar frustrating stories, and there are many, many more that are not on this Zoom. And this has been, as you've heard, there's been a lot of people fighting for a long time. And this is a tremendous opportunity to get the word out and to tell their stories. And we, on behalf of the entire community, we appreciate that. I also wanted to say to all of those on this Zoom, when these local stories break and the streaming feature breaks over the next month or so, all of us can do our part in continuing to drive attention around that. Your family, your friends, others can share that. They can email links to it out. They can share it on their social media if they're on social media. Things like that go a very, very long way towards driving attention, eyeballs, and the question that was asked about, will it be picked up nationally? If it's something that, quote, goes viral, then it could get picked up nationally, but it only goes viral if people take time to care about it and share it with others so that more people care about it. So when that comes out, I can tell you on behalf of TMA will be using all of its social channels, email, etc., to share it far and wide within our own community. But the extra step is all of our members of the community, including you guys, taking time to talk about it and share it with others as well. And we can maximize the awareness of this and hopefully get even more attention. So again, Rebecca, Jennifer, thanks so much for what you're doing.
Indeed.
We're deeply, deeply grateful.
Yeah,
Yes,
indeed.
thank you. And I wanted to say on behalf of our executive director, Paula Eichenbrenner, she wanted to be here today, but she is quite literally in an aircraft flying over our heads as we speak and could not make it, but she echoes Rich's and all of our sentiments.
So let us continue with the meeting here. And as Rebecca stated earlier, then she'd just like to be a fly on the wall. We promise we won't get out any insecticide or flying insect repellent here. We want you to be here, and so our meetings then are basically a sharing of information and developments and ideas and tips and treatments that we all share. One of the things that I think is important is to keep the news link, and by that say the information link, open to everyone here. And again, as I stated earlier, the National Academies is doing a very extensive study on this thing. I have supplied them with quite a library of new research material that has been yet unknown, at least to me, about the potential. I don't want to use the word cause, but let's say association with certain environmental exposures and IBM. And there is and we've talked about this briefly before, but I'll just again state that within the environment and within our own bodies, there is an element that's referred to, or a molecule that's referred to as reactive oxygen species. And the reactive oxygen species, or ROS, is something that is throughout our body, but it is prevalent within we've all heard of DNA, and the DNA in our body is the blueprint. It is the layout of why we have blue eyes and why we look like our grandfather and so on and so forth. RNA is the carpenter. RNA is the workforce that builds those instructions to make sure that if the DNA says that we're going to have brown hair and blue eyes, then RNA is the one that puts that together. To help RNA do its job, there is a protein that's called TDP-43. And TDP-43 binds to RNA and helps RNA carry out its instructions. When RNA is exposed to higher levels of reactive oxygen species, or ROS, it may become unbalanced with our antioxidant defenses. Now, before I go any further, I will tell you that you've heard me say this a couple of times before, but I struggled to make a C- in 8th grade health class. So I am not a doctor. I have no background in chemistry. I have the only exposure to pharmaceuticals that I've ever had is picking them up at Walgreens or the VA pharmacy. So what I'm sharing with you is something that I've read, and it's not because I'm a doctor, so take it with a grain of salt. But what happens is if that balance within our bodies becomes one-sided, in other words, if the reactive oxygen species becomes elevated in our bodies, the RNA goes into what is referred to as oxidative stress. That oxidative stress causes the TDP-43 protein to unbind from RNA, and it finds its way to the cytoplasm, or outside part of the muscle cell, or in the case of ALS, the neuron cell, and it clumps up. It doesn't know where to go. It can't function there. It's not supposed to be there. And the result is that, along with several other proteins that are associated with inclusion body myositis, they clump up and cause what is referred to as inclusion bodies. And they form rimmed vacuoles, which are basically little tiny holes, and cause our muscle cells to fail. And it is an explanation that I was unaware of until recently. And I compiled all this and sent it to the National Academies. to me, it is a very compelling explanation that makes more sense to me than other research articles that I've uncovered. But it is something that I've offered to the national academies. I sent them the documentation with all the supportive documentation. Every piece of documentation that I sent it to them was taken from medical journals. They're all peer reviewed. They're all at the highest levels of scrutiny. And I hope that we may have maybe focused in on something that is going to help us in the long run. So it's just one bit of information that I wanted to share with the rest of the group here, and we'll keep you informed if we hear anything or learn anything. I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to send that same information to Todd Cohen at the University of North Carolina, who's doing extensive research on this very thing, and also maybe to Tom Lloyd, who is the chair of their the neurology department at Baylor. These are some top drawer PhD research scientists that have been on our side. They've helped us before, and we're gonna find out if they can offer some information on that. And with that, there's some hands up here. Frank, good morning from Western Colorado to you. How are you doing this morning?
I am doing pretty good. I have really two questions, and maybe I have a loss of hearing serving the country as well. But I was a U.S. Navy hospital corpsman detached with the Marines during the Vietnam era. I have sporadic inclusion. I have never appealed for it. I went through the back door to get my disability ratings, and but I'm having difficulty. I'm in a different stage as whoever's listening. You all know we all go through various stages. I'm 6 foot, and I'm having a hard time finding wheelchairs that have seat levels high enough for me to get up and off. I have a hard time. When I take falls, it takes me sometimes an hour and a half to 2 hours to get off the ground because I live alone. I understand there are mobile lifts to get people off the ground. On the comments, if anybody could put a suggestion of lifts for you people that are 6 foot plus that have had to get off the floor. The last one took me an hour and a half to scoop my butt to an area and a 3-way transfer to get up. 6 foot and plus people have a hard time because they need about 25-inch clearance to those that are listening that don't have this disease. As to the other question, I'm in a stage where I've been doing physical therapy for 6 years, mostly out of my own health package and a little bit from the VA. And the VA seems to have this mentality that there are only 2 stages for physical therapy: show improvement or you're canceled. And I've heard you talk about this many times, Jim, and you've mentioned it to other people that they don't seem to think of other possibilities. I've been a biology teacher for 28 years, and I understand a little bit more about muscle atrophy than some people do, but not much. I've not experienced as much as many of you that are in this position, in a more severe position. But I know that if you don't do exercises, you don't do muscle, they go into atrophy. And the VA should have 3 stages. And I'm wondering if Hill and Putnam could start maybe a class action suit for all those people that are in this transitional or even in the wheelchair position to do something to provide for the vets so that the muscles don't go into atrophy. That atrophy, as you know, creates a lot of problems in the future for graspings of hands, and talking this to the onlookers that are referencing to the publication in the near future. But I think we need to have another thought process for us people with IBM, that we maintain whatever we have. And so I've listened to some people in the past that have said, well, we can do these sit down classes on TV in a Zoom format. But I was down to Bay Pines in Tampa, and I had to ask them, as a corpsman, I was taught to triage, to take care of people that you can get back on their feet. That's their mentality. But how about, and then those that cannot make it, well, we have to put them off to the side. And right now, I feel like how can I say it politely? I feel like dishwasher that's going to be thrown out because I can't show improvement, that I'm going to be cut off of physical therapies. Yeah, and so that's it.
Yeah, Frank, thank you for that. Frank, let me answer that by telling you that our struggle here is more of awareness within the medical community than anything else. You mentioned to go to Hildepont in a class action suit. I can tell you that would be a pipe dream. It's something that most likely will never happen. But what we need to do is to educate the medical community, and hopefully our efforts that we're dealing with currently are going to further that. And I know exactly what you're saying. The mentality of physical therapy is continued exercise until you show improvement, and it is something that that just goes contrary to helping those with IBM. You can't treat IBM, you can't cure IBM, and physical exercise is going to be a benefit up to a limit. With that said, let me address your concern about a wheelchair. You're within the VA healthcare system now, correct?
Yes.
Okay. You are rated at what? What is your percentage of
I
disability?
took 100% from Agent Orange diabetic, relate secondary to diabetic for most of it.
Understood. Got right there with you. Frank, here's what I would suggest. This is what I did, and it worked for me, and I hope that it might work for you. I am sitting in a power lift wheelchair, and I'm going to you can see me lower myself down. Okay. I can raise myself up. And this is all done by a joystick that's sitting on a $6,000 wheelchair that the VA provided for me at no cost. I got this wheelchair by talking to my primary care physician within the VA, and I told them that I need a wheelchair that goes up, and he gave me a conventional one that someone would have to push me around. I said, I could never get out of a wheelchair like that. I need a powerlift wheelchair. If you would request one from your primary care physician, I think they would provide that for you, and that would help you. You said you're 6 foot, I'm 5'10". And so our height is about the same, but believe me, this thing goes up pretty high. I think that approach might be very beneficial for you to give that a try. As far as the physical therapy goes, when you deal with a physical therapist, we have to explain this disease to them because they are not familiar with it and its limitations. I hope that helps you some way. I know that doesn't answer your question definitively, but I hope it gives you some guidance there that'll benefit you in the long run.
Okay, thank you. I'm still trying to find a device to get me off the floor, to lift me from the bottom, from the base of a floor up high enough to
Yeah, I was going to
my
address
feet
that.
underneath my butt, you might say.
Do you have a life alert?
Yes, I do. The VA was kind enough to give me one that you connect to about anywhere. You don't need internet or anything. You can connect to
Yeah, because I was going to say the fire department, almost every community, their fire department has a service for anyone that falls and can't get up, that they will come and help you. So that would be my first step. If that happens to me, I usually call for my wife. And
it's nice that you have.
Yeah. So let us know if we can help any further.
Frank,
Okay,
there's
thank
been
you.
many comments in the chat that IndieLift has helped several people on this call, and Alicia and Dan Lowther have one that they can no longer use. I'm going to email you with her number so you can connect.
Thank you so much, Rachel.
Augie, good morning to you.
Good morning. Good morning, Jim. And I just wanted to also extend my thanks to Jennifer and Rebecca for the hard work they've been doing to help us achieve our goals. I also wanted to point out that you mentioned, Jim, about the awareness in the medical community and in the general public. But just over the past 10 years, the awareness has increased significantly. It's still not where it needs to be, but through the efforts of TMA and the Medical Advisory Board, they have done a lot to educate the medical community mainly to bring a bit bigger awareness about the existence of IBM and how to diagnose it. And I think that's why we're seeing more and more people get diagnosed. 10, 12 years ago, there was very few of us that were aware of what we had. It's been slow coming, but it's improving year by year. And now we're going to get on somebody's radar, thanks to Jennifer and Rebecca. So the other thing I wanted to just point out, Jim, is why don't we, before we lose Jennifer and Rebecca, see if there's been any updates from any of our group here in terms of their claim process, where they are with their appeal. And we haven't had anybody come up with an approving here lately. So I thought it'd be interesting to hear if there's any new reports from on disability claims.
Hi.
Okay. Go ahead, please.
My name is Lori. I'm Greg's wife. We filed an appeal with Hill and Ponton, and I think that the paperwork actually got submitted about 3 weeks ago. And we've gotten some feedback from the VA just asking for, if we had any more input and things like that. But we have an appointment with Ursula this coming Friday that we'll be able to speak with her and talk more about him and his background. We had applied originally in 2009. He was diagnosed in 2008 and we're denied. We did an appeal, we're denied. We waited until 2014 and we reapplied, and then we appealed it and we were denied both of those times. We've never applied since. We've never done any kind of appeal. We gave up. We completely gave up, and we just thought this wasn't even a possibility until we met you all. And so he started the process. I think we were connected with Hill and Ponton probably in January, but it took a little while for them to get started, and you send off for medical records and things like that. So that's where we are. They did tell us that they actually expect to get an approval or a response within 2 to 3 months, which I thought was really fast. I do know that they marked his case as expedited because he is so far advanced. He can no longer eat on his own, drink on his own, breathe on his own. He's complete quadriplegic, can't move arms or legs at all. So I think that we might get a faster response.
Maybe next week, how fun.
He said, I'm getting a feeding tube on Tuesday. How fun.
Yeah. Lori, it's good to see you here. I'm glad you joined us this morning.
Thank you.
I know that you are new to this group, and I think that I hope that the advances that you've made in the claim process I'm pretty sure that you're in the best hands you can be with Hill and Ponton, and that you will get your disability. The story that you have shared with us previously is disturbing to me. It is disturbing to every veteran that has gone through this, but you're on the right path now, and I'm glad you're here and joining us to be with us as we all go through the same journey.
Well, we're pretty excited because it feels like everything's just kind of culminating all at once. Greg was fortunate enough to be able to be part of this story with the news.
The reporters, okay.
Yeah, we had a reporter from Portland drive down to our area. We're on the opposite. Kyle Abashi. We're on the opposite end of the state. We're on the California border. They're up on the Washington border. But he and his cameraman, they drove down and met with us and interviewed us. So that it feels like that's happening at the same time that his case is happening. Ursula's our attorney. we just feel like everything's happening all at the same time and that it's all good stuff. So we appreciate this group and everybody that's been, just so determined to make changes. And Greg really feels positive about the fact that no matter how long he's able to get the benefits, that he's helping to make a change for other people who might get diagnosed in the future.
And we are hopeful that we're making a change for you. And
Thank you.
It's a continuation of every effort of every veteran. And this is a group effort. There's no question about it. We share ideas, we share tips, and Greg, you hang in there, brother. We're there with you. You will. I can tell you, you're in good hands here. But please, Lori and Greg, keep us informed as to the progress.
Well, I will, and we're hoping to give a positive answer here in a couple of months. So
You
we're
will.
excited
You
about
will.
that.
I feel pretty confident to tell you that you're gonna get everything that you would hope for. So, okay, Terry Baker. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, and hi to everybody. Couple of answers for Frank. Whenever you fall, you've got that little thing from the VA. Hit the button and call 911. And ask for a lift assist. And a crew comes out, stands you up, makes sure you're fine, and goes their merry way. It's not a big deal. My son's a firefighter, and he says they do it all the time. And every time I've had to call for them, they've been great. And I used to be 6'2". I'm 5'9.5" now. My lumbar spine is really foobar. But there are chairs out there that you just have to talk to your OT and all of those people, and they will get one to fit you. And they're really good about it. Talking about exercise, the VA does a program called GeroFit. Find out where that is, and go on the VA site and do a search for it. It's 3 days a week. You work at your own level. It's really good. I was off of it for 3 months. I ended up with some stress fractures in the sacrum. They wanted me to back off for a little while. And boy, could I tell missing those things. They're really, really good about working with you at your level. Do what you can do.
Yeah,
And,
I would emphasize using that 911. You don't want to, when you're on the floor and you miss lunch, it really bothers me. And
Yes.
get 911 out there so you can get the sandwich.
they show up 15, 20 minutes. They're there for 5 or 10.
Yeah, yeah.
I decided to use my
I mean,
face.
literally, it can be a lifesaver. So,
Yeah.
Thank you.
it's important, Terry. Thank you for that information.
Thank you.
Michael Hanna, good morning from Western Colorado. You've got your hand up there. What can you share with us today?
Your memory's not good there. It's from New Mexico.
Oh, okay. You're just out, right down the road.
Right. Several things. First is the issue of look at the chat there for all the comments that people have made about IndyLift and other things. There's lots of good things. I have used an IndyLift repeatedly. As long as I can crawl from one room to the other, I can get to my IndyLift. If I left it in the wrong place, I can get up within 10 minutes. So it's absolutely worth it. The other thing was about exercise that he was mentioning. My physical therapist, who has actually chosen to train herself about IBM, God bless her, has pointed out that proper exercise that doesn't strain the muscles, she is convinced that what I've been doing has slowed down my regression tremendously. Doesn't cure it, but can slow it down, and by God, that's worth it, I tell you. The last thing was about an update that was asked for. I think it was, I've been with Hill and Ponton, got an interesting aspect of what's gone on with my case. Number one, with all of my medical documentation I was able to submit, the VA agreed totally without any kind of medical exam or anything else that I have IBM, and it is now on my record as my diagnosis. Secondly, they said, you have no claim because you've never been exposed to any hazardous materials. Thank you. Goodbye.
Yeah.
That story, Michael, has been repeated over and over and over again. So we're right there with you. We know exactly what you're going for. That's the problem, is that the Veterans Health Administration and the Veterans Benefits Administration do not communicate. They don't talk to each other. They don't share information. They'll upload records, perhaps if necessary, but the Veterans Health Administration says you've got IBM, but the Veterans Health Administration says that, but the Veterans Benefits Administration doesn't acknowledge it, and they tell you that you were never exposed to anything to get it, and that's
they're saying the only category they have is if you've been exposed, and
believe me.
Well, of course, Hill and Ponton is on top of the case, and
you're in good hands. You're in good hands. Yeah. It'll give it the time. It's something that we're seeing develop in that the claim process. We have seen evidence that the claim process has improved from a time standpoint, where I can tell you there's many of us in here that waited years and years and years before getting your full benefits. Before I ever got recognized as in service connected, it was 7 years. I didn't get my full benefits until 2 years thereafter, a whole 9-year process. But we're seeing these developments now, like for Greg and Lori. They'll put a claim in. They're gonna see results here within a couple of months, and thank God that they don't have to sit here and wait for the decades that some of us have waited. And so if Hill and Ponton is on top of it, the changes that have taken place within the Veterans Benefits Administration, within the VA itself in its entirety, have expedited this claim process. They've cleared out the backlog. It has helped new patients that are putting claims in. They will appeal this in the right manner, and I think that you're going to see the results in it favorably without having to go through the years and years and years of delays. So with that, we wish you well. Keep us informed, Michael. Hey, Seth, how are you this morning?
All right. I was just going to throw in, I'm doing the Hill and Ponton thing. I was diagnosed in 2019, and the first 2 times I asked for benefits, I was denied. The third time I went with Hill and Ponton, they were denied. Last August, the VA, said, yeah, we've got your claim from Hill and Ponton, and we're looking into it. And here it is, 9 months later, and we're still waiting to hear from them. So, so I've been into the program now for almost 7 years, and I probably felt like something was wrong 5 or 6 years. So I'm looking at 12, 13 years with active IBM, where things are slowly going downhill. So that's where I'm at with the appeals process. And then as far as the Abcuro trial, which I am in, it's hard to tell. They came out. We had a big meeting last week, and they had one of the Abcuro doctors on, who was like, statistically, you're looking at, I can't remember the numbers, but say we need 0.05. Well, Abcuro came in at like 0.06, so it just missed the ability to say it's working. what they did do say, though, is that over the course of 2 years, the people who were on the placebo, whose FRS score went down by 4 points, people who were on the drug, it only went down by 2 points. So there was some benefit. Now, am I weaker? Yes. Significantly, I don't know. I can still, I still walk around with a rollator and, can do pretty much everything else. Still can't get out of the chair without some kind of seat aid, but yeah. So they're still giving me the shots. I just got a shot the other day. So I don't think they know what they're doing with the drug going into the future, but they're still
Well,
doing
it is a trial. That's what they're trying to find out in the long run,
Yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
something that I've always been concerned about. I shared some, had things shared with me about Abcuro and the amount of money that they have raised to develop this pharmaceutical, and it is, you're talking like in excess of $100 million. My concern is, given the rarity of IBM, if they did find a successful path to a therapeutic, what would that cost in the open market, and would
Right.
would the insurance companies cover it?
Right.
So a lot of
Well,
lot of big ifs there.
apparently it's not just IBM. This is like a triple, you know, trifecta kind of drug, because they say it also deals with temporal frontal dementia
Okay.
and with some types of cancer, which apparently it's having great results in the cancer field. So, that's why I think they're keeping it going in all three aspects. But
Was there any discussion about having that for ALS as well?
no, the only discussion was that the drugs that are out there for ALS right now, they found that over a longer period of time, they had more benefit, and they want to see if maybe the benefit of this drug, 2 years was minimal benefit, but maybe over 4 years, there's a bigger benefit. So I think that's why they want to still keep giving us the shots. So,
Well, good luck.
yeah. Okay, that's all I wanted to share. Thanks.
Thank you, Seth. Dan, how are you this morning?
Hello, can you hear me?
We can hear you fine.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I did a somewhat positive story for me, through Hillel-Ponton, I was diagnosed, after years of tripping and falling back in through a neurologist back in 2009. And, I had a couple muscle biopsies, one at the Mayo Clinic in Jacksonville, one in uh, Ocala, Florida, and both of them came back with that. And I applied, and a couple times, and both times naturally denied. And then 2011, and so forth and so on. But I got on you guys' program. I think it was in April or May of 2024, and that's when you had Carrie Baker and crew on there, and I did sign up with them. And I just got in November, the judge, through all what they call them, anyway, the judge himself, a single judge, came back and said, yes, I've had IBM since 2009. But what happened is the approval came through from June of 2024. I was approved for 100% IBM. And I just in 1 April got my first increase in benefit pay. So it takes a while.
Yeah, it does.
With them for almost a year and a half before I
Dan,
got.
did you receive any special monthly, the SMC, the special monthly compensation?
Yes, kind sir, I did. I did.
Okay. Do you recall what was
R1.
that? You got R1.
Yes, sir.
Wonderful. Oh, that's tremendous.
Yeah,
That helps.
I say the same thing. Oh, you want to? That's for sure.
Yeah, that's that. I had to wait.
But I did talk with Kerry, and he said if this thing gets automatically approved back, it does. I cannot go back to my first denial to get benefits. But
It goes back to your last approval or your last appeal
appeal,
date,
yeah,
and that's what mine was, and that took my appeal was put in 2020, and so I got the retroactive pay from on R1 from 2020. It was a sizable settlement,
yeah,
and
it helps. It
Dan,
really
indeed
helps.
it does. Glad to hear that.
And then
Uh,
naturally, I'm also getting help from my wife. In fact, I just asked for an increase in the aid and attendance that the VA pays her.
is that the PCAFC? The
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah,
okay, yeah, that comes in handy as well.
you bet.
Uh, yeah, they see those aspects within the VA system. Those aspects are sometimes, it just takes forever to receive them. But when you do, I don't know about you, I can't get on a ladder to paint the ceiling. I can't I can't change the batteries in the smoke detectors. I can't do any landscaping out there.
Nothing.
I've got to hire people,
Yeah.
and that's the help that provides is wonderful. So
So I just want to say thank you to you and everybody involved with it, and naturally Helen Font, because Kerry Baker was very, very great in the letter that he sent forward to that
he's
judge.
he's the guy. He's the go-to guy. I'll tell you. Hill and Ponton is a veterans law firm that because of the information that we collectively have shared with Hill and Ponton over the years, Augie was the first one to use them. Uh, Augie should be getting royalties. Honestly, from all of the veterans that have been sent to Hill and Ponton, uh, you know,
You know
uh,
what's funny? We actually contacted Hill and Ponton back in 2015 when we were filing an appeal and we were getting denied clear back then. And I had looked up something, just IBM, veterans, attorneys, like things like that, and their name had come up. And we had done like an online consultation and they came back to us and told us no.
Hill and
So I
Ponton
think,
did.
yeah, yeah, they wouldn't take him as a client. And I think that it's just that long ago, maybe there just wasn't the information that they needed in order to know that any case could ever be won. And that's when we decided there's no way that we're ever going to pursue this again because it's never going to happen.
I hope that is the reason, but the learning curve is steep on this disease, and perhaps they were at the bottom of that learning curve when you contacted them. But believe me, we have supplied them with an enormous amount of information that has been used to help veterans across this country get their
Oh, yeah.
benefits. And
What they
now,
submitted for him is quite impressive. I mean, it was 51 pages
yeah,
of
yeah.
information, and that didn't even include like his medical records. That was just information that was submitted for him. But I just thought you guys might think that was interesting because we did contact them in
Yeah,
2015.
indeed, but they have done the 180 right now, and
Yes.
they are the go-to law firm in this country
Yeah.
for filing appeals or claims for inclusion body myositis.
Yeah,
Absolutely no question.
I had the other end, maybe because of what happened to them. When I put in for mine, I got my typical message back saying it'll take a couple weeks, they'll review it and all that to see, because I had told them that I had applied back in 2010 and all this stuff, right? Well, it wasn't a couple weeks, it was the next day. We want your case. I said, oh, all right.
I had just recently been interviewed by yet another reporter, Chris Vanderveen out of Denver. And Chris asked for my records about, when was my first claim filed? Do I have paperwork on it? I copied that, sent him the PDF copies. And as I'm reviewing it, I had to sit back and laugh a little bit because there's one section, and this was done in 2017. And in 2017, the response that I got back that, yes, we've received your claim, here's what you have to do. And they have little segments of things, like they ask their own questions, like, how long will it take? And I'm reading it, and they said, typically claims will be satisfied and determined within 4 to 6 weeks. 9 years later, I was still waiting. So so much for accuracy in those little documents. But I had to I reviewed that thing and the time frames. But right now they're getting through this stuff pretty quick. By comparison, we're not seeing these. At least I'm not aware of any of these delays that are going on for 9 and 10 years anymore. They're getting them to within about a year and a half to 2 years. But still, it's a massive improvement, and we hope it shortens even that. And that was the commitment made by the new secretary who took it over. He said to clean up the backlog, get this thing taken care of. And so far, we've seen that happen. Ron Miller, thank you for your patience. You've had your hand up here. What can you share with us? Hello, Ron, are you there? Okay, Clyde, are you with us?
I'm sorry, Jim.
Oh, Ron, there you are. How are you?
Yeah, I was going to say that now I've gone through the initial, the supplemental. Looks like next I'll be going to the Board of Appeal, but I'm in a little bit different situation. They agreed that I definitely was in a participation of what they call TERA, which is the like subject to Agent Orange, and then of course I also had the carbon tetrachloride. So just to let you know, they find reasons to definitely deny you. My denial is based on the fact that the IBM is not presumptive. And that's the reason why they're saying, hey, you couldn't, IBM is not caused by service in the military.
I don't know about you. I don't keep JP4 in my backyard. But so for them to say that it's not service connected is just ignorance. And this is what we're trying to overcome.
Exactly. I'm with Hill and Ponton, and I feel confident that they did a great job on the supplemental. I mean, they really did it looked good. And again, it just comes back fairly quickly. Matter of fact, within a month or so. Like you said, they're trying to clear the backlogs, but they said, no, it's still denied. And so I'm just going to sit back and wait. I know Hill and Ponton will probably do a good job for me here eventually, but
we've got what we're dealing with here is people within the VA who are just the reality is they're not familiar with what our disability is. They're not familiar with inclusion body myositis, and there is no diagnostic code for it. And that is if we could get that diagnostic code created, we've been pleading for this for the last decade. And if we could get this diagnostic code created specifically for inclusion body myositis, we wouldn't be here. We would our claims would be satisfied within weeks rather than decades. And it's all because the rarity of this disease is such that the familiarity with it is non-existent within the VA, and they refuse to improve things the way we want them to. But this is why Jennifer and Rebecca are here to help us get over that hurdle and get this recognized the way that we need it to. So, Ron, thank you for that, and we'll if we could cross our fingers, we would. And it'll be patient. It'll work out.
I think so, and like I say, I'm not sweating it at this particular time, and I definitely appreciate Jennifer and everyone else that's doing the story on this. This is wonderful. I think this is
Amen. Great. Amen. All righty. Clyde, good morning to you. We can't see you. Can you hear us, Clyde? Okay, I think we may have lost Clyde here. Augie, additional comments?
Yes, sir. I just wanted to comment, Jim, on the lack of a diagnostic code at the VBA. Jennifer and Rebecca have both dropped off now, but I wanted to just share something that Rebecca shared with me about the her interview with the congressman, with Rich McCormick, when he learned that there was no diagnostic code for IBM at the VBA. Being a physician himself, he was just incredulous. And he just could not understand how that could possibly be. So that's just another area that we're going to be getting some specific help in, not only getting attention to our denials and becoming, trying to get presumptive, but getting that diagnostic code. I think he's going to be a real advocate for us.
It sounds like it, and I think all of us can appreciate the change that we would see within this system if they had a specific diagnostic code for IBM. We would the number of C&P exams that we went through would be reduced to maybe 2 rather than 6 or 7 or 10. And over and above that, we know that these C&P exams do not. The VA is not getting these things done for $1.59. You're talking thousands of dollars for every time that somebody goes out the door, and over and over and over again did we have to go to these C&P exams. Why? Because we did not have our own diagnostic code. And the same thing, I mean, the cost to the VA and the cost to the American taxpayer, it can be reduced dramatically. It's just a multifaceted problem that can be solved with just one creation of a 4-digit diagnostic code. And I'll tell you what, if it goes any further, if we have the opportunity, they will probably have a DBQ, a disability benefits questionnaire. And I believe that as veterans that have suffered with IBM for as long as we have, we are more qualified to create that DBQ for the VA than many of the doctors are. And if there's any way that we can get our foot in the door to help develop such a DBQ, again, another plus on our side. So, Augie, thank you for that input, because we've got the attention now, and I think serious attention from Congressman McCormick. And if he can further this for us, God love him. It's what we've been hoping for. It's what we've been hoping for. So thanks for that input, Augie.
Jim Butler had his hand raised. If you could ask him. Jim Butler, you want to ask your question, please?
Yeah, Jim, can you hear us?
This is Donna, his wife. I just wanted to vent a little bit, if that's okay.
Absolutely. Welcome.
Yeah. Jim's he's
what's wrong with my video?
Wheelchair bound. He's had Inclusion Body Myositis, diagnosed through muscle biopsy at Mayo Clinic in 2010. We've gone through the process of filing claims, started with 10%, then 40%, 70%, now 80%. He's finally at 90%. I filed a new claim in, I think it was last September, October. He's already established service connection. They've said that as other claims because he was exposed to burn pits in Florida. It's documented. And so the previous 70% claim, they've admitted it. The last one I just got an answer says now they're not showing service connection. So my question is, don't they ever look at older appeals where they have granted it? That makes sense?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't make sense. I wish I could say yeah, it makes no. But we understand. It's where in Florida were you exposed to burn pits?
What's the Air Force base you're at?
Homestead Air Force Base.
Homestead Air Force.
Oh, in Homestead. Okay.
Yeah.
And the reason I asked, because there were several Air Force bases in Florida that were involved in the testing and the development of the C-123 sprayers that applied Agent Orange, and they were tested at some of the other bases up in the Panhandle, up near Pensacola, between Fort Walton Beach and Pensacola, and it's they've got a lot of contamination down there. But
I did a lot of research on my own. I filed I filed everything myself except the initial one. And I looked up, and the research I found was they had aerial views of these open pit burn without any liners back before he was stationed there. And now the groundwater in that location is EPA Superfund site for how badly contaminated the groundwater is there. That's how I was able to prove it. And he was stationed there 2 years during the Cuban blockade. Drank the water, ate the food, all of that. So I wanted to vent because it's frustrating. I'm dealing with the VA, and I have to go back and say, how come you did say on this one there's service connection? Because he was in they call it TERA.
Okay.
Service connection for right foot inclusion body myositis has been established directly related to military service. Oh, and that one goes on to say, but a zero compensation for it.
Yes, that's typical. I had dozens of separate disabilities registered. Each one said I had 10% disability on this, but I never got compensated for them. And it was another year and a half before I received my benefits. Where do you stand currently? Do you have a claim filed already that you're waiting to?
I'm in the process of filing a brand new one. I don't know if I told you, but Jim lost his right leg above the knee with an amputation last September. I'm filing a claim for peripheral artery disease because it was documented that they discouraged any statin for Jim to take once he was diagnosed with inclusion body myositis, because it would also cause more weakness. So I have that documented. It's documented in his records with the VA that he's never supposed to take a statin. And I'm saying they think that's why he developed the peripheral artery disease. So that's the claim I'm going to put in now. He's lost actually his right leg above the knee amputation.
That's a hard thing to deal with. We're very sorry to hear that. But I would tell you that the advisory notice that you received about statins, that did not come from that had to have come from the Veterans Health Administration, not the Veterans Benefits Administration. Is that correct?
I think it might have even come from his neurologist after he was diagnosed, not to take a statin.
Yeah, that my neurologist advised me the same thing, to get off the statins.
Yep.
But that came from the medical community and not necessarily the Veterans Benefits Administration.
Right.
Yeah, and it's something that these are the things that you have to continue to remind them of. I was told that my initial claim for my disabilities were based on Agent Orange exposure. I was stationed in Thailand for 3 years. I got denied because it said on their website the following bases in Thailand were treated extensively with Agent Orange, and they listed Karat, Takli, Utapao, Udorn, Ubon, Nakhon Phanom. I was at Ubon for 2 years, Udorn for 1 year. Both the website, on the VA website, says that they were exposed. My denial, it was because I did not serve in the Republic of Vietnam. I got denied because I served in Thailand. But yet that is the contradictory commentary that we receive from this thing repeatedly. So please keep us informed. If you need any further help with that, there's Hill and Ponton has done a tremendous job for a lot of us, but continue the fight. When you file a claim, when the claim process is done, you also need to investigate getting special monthly compensation.
Right.
If you're over 70%, are you receiving now the PCAFC grant?
For caregivers?
Yes.
Yes, I am.
Good for you. Good. Yeah,
Right.
Those are the things that you don't qualify for that until you get over 70% disability.
Right.
And
I got a lot of that information from this group, where to go. And right now he gets care at home 44 hours a week, and I get 25 for respite care. This is in addition to money compensation. These are hours the VA is providing us to care for him.
You take advantage of every
Yep.
every benefit that they provide to you. You look into.
I will. But
Okay.
thank you. I just wanted
Thank
to
you.
vent a little bit.
Jim, hang in there, brother. We're there with you.
Okay.
Kevin, good to see you there, Kevin. How you doing?
Hey, I'm doing great.
Wow, what have we got there? You've got a speaker on somewhere.
I have so much system software. I'm not sure.
I think he's on the Artemis, ready for splashdown.
Go ahead and give me a test count. 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah, we're getting a bad echo there, Kevin. So I think what you're hearing is the feedback from your microphone to our speakers, and then it's picking that up and feeding that back to you. That's what happens. If you get that resolved, if you have see, I use the earbuds, and if that works for you, that might eliminate that. But we'll go on. Are there any, Clyde? Hey, we missed you the first time around. Clyde, are you there? And we understand you had a question.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you fine.
Okay, I'm having all kinds of problems. I'm not sure what, but I got it, I think. Just can't get my video turned back on.
Yeah, but we can hear you good.
Okay. I'm just asking this question. I know was stated or was answered earlier in this, and I can look it up. I thought maybe somebody else didn't catch it. What are the service, I don't know how the service time periods, or what is being considered in the review of the VA for the current review right now for IBM? It was mentioned something about it excludes Vietnam, but I didn't quite catch who is actually included right now.
I'm not sure that I understand your question. You mean
okay?
What is the criteria for IBM claims?
No, actually, my question is the VA that's having the testing done right now, or the review of IBM for service connection?
Oh, you're talking about the National Academy, the one for the National Academies?
Yes. What are the groups of veterans or service periods? What are they actually considering right now?
Okay, that let me back up a chapter here and clarify some things for everybody. And that is, when the PACT Act was passed, there was a clause within the PACT Act that required the Secretary of Veterans Affairs to have the National Academies of Science, Engineering, and Medicine review the current evidence and information to determine if a particular condition, disease, or disability was presumptive. And that is required to go through the National Academies now. The Secretary cannot make that decision on his own. Once that is completed and the evidence warrants a disease being presumptive, the Secretary will then follow through and follow the National Academy's recommendations. To answer your question, the study that they're currently reviewing is limited to the Gulf War era and post 9/11 era. It eliminates the Vietnam veteran era, but that's something that we understand is not going to be an issue. But officially, the request that was submitted from the VA to the national academies specified that it was for the Gulf War and post 9/11 veterans.
Okay.
Does that answer? I hope that answers your question.
It does. So they're saying basically, and I know you said in the end you think that it won't matter, but right now, unless you served Gulf War or post 9/11, they aren't taking a look at that right now as far as presumptive. Is that did I misconstrue what you just said?
Yeah, that's basically the basis of the time frame that they're looking at. But once that is established, I think I mean, without anything, there's several of us now that are getting our benefits in lieu of having this thing officially recognized. But once it's on the books as presumptive, it's going to benefit all veterans, and it's not going to be limited to specific areas or locales.
Okay, great, thank you. And I just noticed I'm logged in twice. That was a problem. I can see myself on video on one, and I have a separate blank. So I apologize for my lack of technology savvy here.
Keep a 12-year-old handy when we deal this thing.
Yes,
they'll
yes,
be able to correct all this for us.
Yes, sir.
All right, Kevin, are we back online? Do you think you got your?
Let me try.
Oh my, that sounds like a sci-fi movie.
Hey, Kevin, I'm going to email you a list of potential reasons for the echo. So I will get that to your email here in just a few minutes.
Okay, Rachel, thank you. So Rachel was gracious enough to extend our time frame here. We wanted to make available the Zoom meeting window for Jennifer and for Rebecca, but they've concluded that I think their questions. I hope we satisfied what they were looking for, but they concluded their involvement here earlier. So, Rachel, thank you for your help in extending that time frame. But I'll just so we've got a few more minutes here. Does anybody else have any comments, questions, concerns, issues, tips? If so, just hit that, raise your hand by going down to that little heart react icon at the bottom of your screen and raise your hand, and we'll wait to hear from your if you have any comments or questions. It appears as here's Ron Miller. Hi, Ron. How are you?
Hey, Jim, I have a quick question. Looks like I'm going to be needing a Hoyer lift here pretty soon. I was just wondering, anybody have any experiences what works well with the Hoyer lift?
Let me pass that on to the group. We're looking for information about using a Hoyer lift. If there's anybody there with a Hoyer lift, please raise your hand and make a comment. There's Dennis. How are you doing, Dennis?
I'm good. I have a Hoyer lift. That's the Mo lift 150, which is terrific. If you're on the floor, it'll pick you up from the floor. It'll put you, you have to have a different sling to go on the toilet, but the netting will pick you up if you fall on the floor. Because I did fall, and my aide got me up that way. So it does work. The Hoyer lift, it's called the Mo lift 150.
That's the model number?
Yes.
Okay.
It's let me just make sure. Let me just take a look at it real quick. Not going nowhere. It's right behind me. So 2 seconds.
Oh, there we are.
It's a Smart 150. A Smart 150.
Okay. Very good.
It's terrific. It's terrific. It's portable. You get it with a case. I got it from the VA, and it's very good. So hope
All
that
right.
answers your question.
And Dennis, you got interviewed by our reporters too, as well, didn't you?
Yes, actually, I just had the guy Carter, their photographer. He came to my house Tuesday, and he spent 2 hours here. And my aide, we showed him how I would get out of bed, how she would put me on the toilet, how she would put me in my shower chair. I mean, we did the whole thing.
Well,
So,
hopefully, when this message gets out, it's going to open some eyes, and we need it so desperately. And I thank you for your help in that and your participation and your willingness to share this and help us. It's gonna go a long way.
And I go in front of the judge with Ursula and them had after a certain point. Then they give this guy Mike Just, and he's one of their lawyers that gets things done quick. But the paperwork was given to him in November, so they gave me a date of April 28th that they're going
Just
to
around
hear
the corner, then coming up.
Yeah, that they're going to hear my case. So
let us know how it proceeds.
Oh yeah, hopefully in the May meeting, I'll be all smiles.
Wonderful. We're confident it's going to work out great. You got some good people behind you, and I love your T-shirt. I love the
Thanks.
T-shirt there.
Hey, Jim.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Ben Babcock they were trying to put on to raise their hand, but I don't think they got the right thing. I don't know if they still want to talk or not.
I'm sorry, who you were referring to? Who?
Yeah, Ben Babcock.
Okay.
She's waving her hands right now.
Yes.
Well, go ahead. Yeah, please go ahead. Then I don't see them on the screen, but if you've got a comment there to share it with us, please.
Okay, hi, this is Ben's wife, Anne. Ben got a decision recently that we're kind of confused about. Maybe somebody knows. It says his service connection for IBM is granted with an evaluation of 0%.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. That means that you're going to have to go through certain C&P exams to determine your level of disability.
Okay. But that's a good start.
Oh,
I think.
the service connection is the golden ticket. That's what
Right.
that's the whole thing, getting service connected. The level of disability as is IBM is progressive, so is your compensation when they determine your
Right.
level. As your disability progresses, you keep reminding the VA, I'm getting worse, I'm getting worse.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to be entitled to more disability benefits.
Well, he's
Can I-
40, he's 40% now, and Hill and Ponton is going to appeal soon on the bronchiectasis and sleep apnea. But
Yeah.
nothing about the IBM.
Hill and Ponton should be all over the IBM.
Well, maybe now that this has happened.
Yeah, they'll once you just remember. I want to remember there are benefits there for you when you get over 70% disability rating.
Right.
There are benefits for spouses and caregivers that come into play that can benefit you greatly.
We're aware. We really are aware. We're hoping to get there. Yes.
Wonderful.
Yes.
If
But
you
the
need
IBM we thought would be a big help, but so far not. Yeah.
Yeah, it's something that if Hill and Ponton should take very good care of you. If you need any help from us, we're here for you.
Okay, thanks. I wanted to check on this because we weren't sure what to expect. So thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Jim, I just wanted to point out one thing about traveling with a Hoyer lift.
Yes, go ahead, please.
I would recommend Candlewood Estates or Suites, Candlewood Suites. What's her name? I'm trying to think of Ray's wife that was part of our group.
Oh.
I forget her first name.
Ray and Camille.
Camille, yes. She's the one that gave me the information about Candlewood. She said their beds will accommodate a Hoyer lift because that sometimes is a problem if you travel with one. You have to have room under the bed for your Hoyer lift.
Yeah, understood.
So
Understood.
Candlewood is, all their beds are okay. And the other thing, we were very lucky that we have a permanent Hoyer lift in our home in Minnesota. The VA will only give you one of them. And we had a friend of ours, another veteran, didn't need their portable one any longer. So we have, I think it's a Journey portable one. That's the one we travel with. And
there are several out there. Greg Rutherford just put a comment up that he's got the portable one.
Okay.
So there's been a lot of these Hoyer lifts in use for us for obvious reasons, and so it's something that when it's needed, it's probably irreplaceable when you need one. And as I struggle to get out of bed every morning, and it's something that probably is in my future here, probably sooner rather than later. But for all the comments on the Hoyer lifts, thank you, because it's good information for all of us.
I did want to add something.
Sit to stand works very well for me. Getting out of bed. It's a good unit.
We used to use a sit to stand station also when Greg was able to stand and bear weight. We used that for a long time. But I was just going to say, we were fortunate because the VA has actually bought us 3 different Hoyer lifts. We had what they called a Milford lift that was installed next to his bed that we were able to transfer him in and out of bed using it. And then they had another station for the Milford lift out in the garage so that we could transfer him from his wheelchair he uses on a regular basis to like an outdoor 4-wheel drive chair that he used to use. And then we have the regular Hoyer lift that's a Invacare Reliant 450. It's electric and it works terrific. And then we also had the portable one, and the VA paid for all of them. So I don't know how we were so fortunate that way.
I think our issue was we had 2 locations, 2 homes. We have a home in Fort Myers and one in Minnesota. So they provided the one in Minnesota, and I think it's the one you just mentioned.
It's something that the VA has been very accommodating for us from the health administration. Any durable medical equipment, they just put a seat in my vehicle that lifts up, pivots, rotates, extends itself out of the car door, sets me down so I can get out of the car and go back. I can sit in the chair, and then it lifts me back up and moves me back in to the vehicle, so I don't have to climb in and out of a car. And that's like a $14,000 device that they put in there for me. Aside from the wheelchair, the hearing aids, the rollators, so on and so forth, the Hoyer lifts for you guys, the VA Health Administration has been fantastic, and it has helped so many of us in so many different ways. I wish that the business model could be copied by the Benefits Administration, but the Health Administration is readily willing and able to help us in any way that they can. I just my hands are such that I cannot use my fingers to replace the batteries in my hearing aids because they're so small. I drop them. I commented this on the audiologist at the VA hospital, and they said that I was not due for a replacement on my hearing aids, but they were going to go ahead and order the rechargeable kind of hearing aids for me, so I no longer had to deal with those batteries. And I just got those just last week. And they come in a little case, put them down, all compliments to the VA. So with what the VA Health Administration has done for us, I have nothing but praise. Yes, Rachel.
Hey, besides Carl, who has his hands up and has been being peppered with kisses that we're all jealous about.
We saw that. That was pretty enlightening.
where do we sign up for that option? But anyway, in the chat, Byron Rosto said that he had some comments.
Oh, okay. I have a compressed screen. I'm not seeing
I
everybody
know you
here.
can't see all the different moving
Yeah.
parts. And so
So
Byron,
okay, let us go. We'll get to Byron. Let me take Carl. You've been very patient. I know your hand's been up for a while, and thank you for your patience. So please unmute yourself and let us know what we can help you with.
Yes, several things are going on. One is, well, the latest one was my wife. I found her 55 years ago, so that's been going on for a while. On the Hoyer lift, I've got a 450, and the amounts that came with it were okay for extruding you out of a bathtub or off of a bed, but off the floor, they were not suitable. So I had to make a modification to it to take some of my rescue straps, webbing, make a loop over it, and have a beaner for mountain climbing that I could hook to either my belt or to the strap that came with it, or I got with it, to my waist, and I could actually lift that frontwards and lift me off the ground to a standing position. Just for as an alternative to other things.
Apparently, they've got various models of these Hoyer. I'm not familiar with the Hoyer lift because I don't use one at this point, but it appears as though there's quite a variety of them out there for different applications.
Yes. Yes. Well, that's what they gave me, is the 450, the big one with the spread legs and all that sort of stuff.
Okay. Well, thank you for sharing that, Carl. We appreciate it. Roland,
Yes.
how are you this morning? Nice to see you again.
I'm hanging in there.
Good for you, brother.
I have a question today concerning the bed, the hospital bed. You mentioned a week or two ago, a couple of months ago, there was a bed that was better than the average hospital bed that you get. Because I've got the hospital bed from the VA, but I can't turn in my bed. I can't maneuver in my bed. Now, I understand somebody mentioned there was one that will help you to be able to move in the bed. There's something about the Hospital Bed Pro or something.
Yeah, I remember that I remember that discussion.
That was
and
us.
let me ask. I don't see her here. Alicia, are you still with us?
Actually, it was us. Alicia, I think, ended up buying it about the same time that we had that meeting, but Greg's been using it for a couple of years now. It's called Pro Bed by Freedom Beds, I think.
Pro Bed, yes.
And it does everything. It will turn you during the night, and you can program it to go a certain number of degrees on each side and then stop on your back as well. And then you can program it for how many minutes you want to stay on each side or on your back.
Wow.
And then it also does everything else. It raises, it lowers, it tilts. The whole bed tilts, or you can have the head raised or the feet raised, or it does everything. And
interface with Alexa.
He said it will also interface with Alexa, so we can ask her
Oh, my goodness.
I'll just be laying in bed, and our beds are in the same room, but I sleep in a different bed, but he'll say for her to put it to the next station, and she'll turn him to the next station if he gets uncomfortable.
The technology that's available to help us out is just astounding. And so thank you for sharing that, because that's something that I was not aware of. It went to that level of technology. But
it does. I mean, like I said, he can raise it and lower it and do all kinds of things by himself, like raise his head if he's like kind of, a lot of you probably have the same problem with like phlegm accumulating in your throat or something like that. And he'll raise his head up. He can do a few things by himself. I was just going to also mention this bed is extremely expensive, as you can imagine. So it's about $40,000 for the bed. But again, the VA bought it for us.
Yeah, indeed. And that's again the praise that I have for the VA Health Administration is endless. It just is unending. It's just they've done so many things for so many of us. I'm sorry, Greg. Go ahead. You were muted.
He was just telling me to go get the exact name and things that are on the bed, and I'll put it in the comments.
Yes, that's
Okay.
what I
All right.
And maybe
Okay.
a contact number or something. So I'll put that in the comments.
Good information. Good information. Thank you very much. Roland, did that?
Yeah,
fine.
I just got to get the full name. I got ProBed written on, but I don't
Yeah,
know.
I remember the conversation. It was the ProBed and you could probably search that online and look for ProBed, and you'll probably get a dozen different sources to look through that. And
That's great. But that's the thing. My bed is the regular hospital bed that the VA gave me, but I can't do much with it. Just it raises and lowers. But my wife has a hard time tipping me out of the bed.
Yeah.
Now,
I'm fortunate that the height of our bed is basically perfect for me. My wife and I took a short weekend vacation just a little while ago, a couple of weeks ago, and we in the hotel, even though we got an ADA room with a walk-in shower and so on and so forth, the beds were so low that I could not get myself out of bed in the morning, and my wife had to use that strap. She put a strap around me and lifted me up. But so these are the obstacles that we face when we travel. But obviously you can't take the bed with you. But those things that make our lives easier are so very important to us. So Lori, thank you for sharing all that information with us.
The other question is, this has been approved by the VA, but I applied for it, and that's the unit that will go over your hand, and it can be controlled by your brain or whatever, but it's allowing you that it'll squeeze your hand so you can pick up an object. I can't move my hands. I'm worse than you are, Jim.
Yeah.
My hands are getting so straight that I can't hold anything. So this unit is supposed to be able to squeeze your hand. So if you heard anything about that,
Is that the carbon hand?
The carbon hand. That's it.
Yeah. I remember our discussion about the carbon hand, and there's variations of that as well. I looked online. Not only is the carbon hand, but they have similar devices of different brands that offer the same help to us. So they're out there. Just got to go shopping for them, and you'll probably get the reviews. But each here's the thing: what we talk about here is not universal to every VA hospital. We were told many years ago that what the VA told me is that if you talk to one VA hospital, you talk to one VA hospital, and they're not universal. What I can get, my wheelchair here, my hearing aids, they're pretty much standard, but other devices, things that the carbon hand, the bidet in our bathroom, veterans got this model. They didn't have it in my hospital. They offered other models, and it's something where each hospital has their own list or selections of vendors for various assistive products, and or what they refer to as compensatory devices, the ones that help us get through the day. And each hospital may have different, but they function. The results are the same. The benefits are going to be the same. Just the brands and selections that they have available may not be available universally, but they're still out there. Kevin, you want to give that a try again?
Yes.
Sorry.
I can't get over this problem.
Well,
he's got this audio problem, and then it goes.
I've had the same problem. Yeah. Okay. So, are there any other questions, comments, concerns, discussions, tips, ideas?
Hey, Jim. Byron here. Can you hear me?
Hey, Byron. There you are. Thank you for showing up here. How are you?
Very good. I want to just say this real quick, and I got 3 quick points. First of all, thank you this is my first call with all of you. You and I have spoken a few times, and you've been so helpful to me in so many ways in filing my claim. But
And by the way, Byron, I did receive the patch that you sent to me, and I'm very grateful. I did receive it. Thank you. I haven't had time to respond to you, but I did get it. Thank you.
I'm really glad to hear that. That was just a token of appreciation for all that you've done, not just for me, but for everybody. It's amazing.
Very kind words. Thank you.
I wanted to say, I'll try to be brief. I did the interview with Kyle. I placed my focus on what I considered in my journey the greatest challenge, which was the incredible level of incompetence that I ran across with C&P examiners. And what I learned real quickly was they get a letter, they get a notice of what they're going to look at with you, but they're going by a checklist. And so I figured out that I could go online with the VA once I knew what they were going to be asking about. And you can print these checklists off. So what I would do, I would take the checklist and then I would take my own documentation and I'd build a folder so that when I went into the exam, I could hand the folder to the examiner with the idea in mind that what they couldn't see or what they didn't know, they could refer to. I found that helpful. I also found that when you get the letter from the VA, and I'm sorry if everyone else already knows this, maybe this is helpful, maybe not, but I wanted to say that it names the person who's going to do your C&P exam. So what I did with that was I looked those people up. I wanted to see what kind of credentials, what kind of training they had. And lo and behold, there's a ton of variation. Some have little or none. I came across, however, an interesting actual doctor, a DO, who, when I looked at veteran comments, it was unbelievable, the number and the length of time that veterans had provided extremely negative comments about this examiner, ranging from everything from insults to disrespect. So
Wow.
I took note of that. And then I got in touch with the VA and I said, hey, I don't want to be sitting in a room with this person. That's the last thing I want to do. So I'd like to know if I can change and you can give me someone else, anybody else. And so they did that. At the same time, I wrote a letter to my state here in Oregon, senator. And I said, look, I don't know how much connection you have. I'm sending the same letter to the VA, but this isn't right. Veterans who are seeking benefits or having to put up with something this dramatically wrong. I think we need some help on this. So I'm really proud to say that between the senator's office and the VA, they removed this examiner here in Oregon from the process. And I just want to say that to me, that was and has been the most difficult part of the journey. Some of those C&P exam situations. Next, I wanted to mention real quick, I went to probably 5, maybe 10 physical therapies. And it wasn't until I heard about neurophysical therapy that I started finding 2 years ago that I could really get some improvement through various things that they have to offer. And the other thing is, with a lot of PTs, you go in, you might be working with a brand new graduate. They may or may not have a high level of education, but with neuro PT, these are people who've received their doctorates. So they're educated. They're able to address our needs and in the more specialized way that we need.
Is this something, Byron, that you've been in contact with through the VA or through the community, through your community hospitals?
Yeah, this is where it gets a little interesting. I asked VA about it, and they said, no, we want you to go to ABC, hypothetically. And I said, well, thanks very much. I'll use my Medicare and I'll go to neuro PT. So I did that. And when I realized how well it was helping me, things like electrical stem and other specific things that help your muscles, I got my neurologist, who's a VA neurologist, to write a letter. And then I got the neuro place, it's called Destination Rehab here in Oregon. I got them to their business manager to get in touch with the VA, put them all together, and they worked it out so that now the VA is going to consider them an option and they'll be in network. And so VA healthcare will pay for that. Sometimes it's a little bit of a battle to get something like that done, but I find that that could be useful. Here in Oregon, I go to the Combat Vet Center, and I see a lot of very young vets with all kinds of problems from Afghanistan, Iraq, and it's been helpful to share with them this information so that they can use VA benefits and get some help over there. Neurotherapy, PT is very definitely different than the average PT that we know and go to.
That would be something that I would suggest if anybody would be interested in that to contact your primary care physician at the VA hospital and inquire about that locally and let them guide you through the proper process then.
And just if I could offer this, Destination Rehab in Bend, Oregon is the name of the place that the VA has accepted as a in-network provider for veterans. So if that's helpful, you could always through them or your PC.
Yeah, each one is locally depending upon,
Right.
obviously, so that's good information, Byron. Thank you for that.
All right, my last comment, and thank you for the time. I also, like the other gentleman, I did the Abcuro trial. I did 2 years in the clinical trial, and right now I'm on the what they call off-label. So if you do the trial, then for 3 years after the trial's over, you get full strength shots every 8 weeks. And all I wanted to say about it was I agree with the person who spoke earlier. They say it's very promising for leukemia and maybe some other things. I even heard that the FDA may have approved it for leukemia, but for IBM, the jury's still out. And what I would say personally is, if I was still expecting a miracle, it hasn't happened. And if anything, I could feel in the last year, kind of a slow but steady decline. So anyway, thank you for letting me just add those comments. This call has been both inspirational and very humbling to be on, and I thank you for that.
Byron, thank you, and thank you for helping in your interview. It's they've got a handful of us now that have been interviewed personally, and I want to thank you for your participation in that effort.
Thank you, Jim.
Frank, did you have an additional comment or question?
First, I would like to thank so many of you that responded in the box there and printing out the phone numbers and the addresses and everything. Thank you so much for that. I do have one or two questions. I talked to a social worker from VA one time, and they said they have bidets that have lifts for people that, like me, I need a 25-inch almost to get off of a commode, and I've modified mine. But they said that they have bidets that actually have lifts up. Have anybody experienced these devices, and are they worth inserting or not?
Yeah, let me ask, Sudz, or did you? I think you got one of those devices, did you not?
Yes,
Sudz?
I use that. That's called a lift seat, and I'll send that to you, Jim, with the information because somebody else just asked about that the other day.
Okay, put down that.
It's got a bidet on it, and it actually lifts you up right off.
Do me a favor, Sudz. When you send that to me, reference Frank Redinger.
Okay,
and that way I'll know who to forward that information to.
Jim, we actually have one we'd like to donate that Jim doesn't use anymore.
Oh.
I'll send you some information about it.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
That might help some people here.
And one last question. I understand that every vet, not all of us like us, but that there's some type of grant out that they may help modify the homes. Someone told me at one time it was somewhere around $20,000, and they modify the vehicles.
It's a adaptive housing grant, and that's an application. When I got my R1 rating for the special monthly compensation, the application was mailed to me. I didn't even request it. But what that grant does is allow you to make improvements to your home to accommodate your disability, to make your life safer, to make your life easier. The limit they gave to me was $127,000.
Wow.
Okay. And that is going to be approximately what would be available to you as well. It depends on your location, but they will come into your home, remodel the bathroom for you, put ramps in the house, so on and so forth. It's called the, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but it's the Adaptive Housing Grant, and it's a program within the VA. Just when you get to the VA, just look for adaptive housing, and it'll take you through that.
Called the SAH grant, Specially Adaptive Housing, SAH grant.
Great. Thanks,
Could you
Sudz.
repeat that again one more time?
Yes, Sam Apple Home, Special
Thank you. I
Adaptive
appreciate
Grant.
that way.
When I
Yeah.
applied for it, it was $121,812. I'm sure it's gone up since then.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
That amount can really depend on what your service connection is, because some of you might remember Greg's service connection is only 10% for tinnitus. That's it. He's not service connected for anything else. And they did give us a small amount. We only got $6,000, but it was enough to help do some flooring changes so that the Hoyer lift could go, not on carpet.
Yeah.
If he ends up getting approved, then, we would be able to potentially use it again with the higher amount. So
Yeah.
I'm just encouraging people, even if you're not highly service connected, there may be a small amount that could help with something.
Good point, Lori. Thank you for that. And I will tell you that what I have learned, my understanding is that grant is that amount of money is available to you, and it does not have to be taken all at one time. You can actually access that account, if you will. In my case, I believe it was up to 6 times. So I could use $10,000 here, $15,000 the next time, $8,000 the next time, up to a total of $127,000. So it's right now. I mean, as many of you know, when I moved out here, I designed the house myself for my own disability. So my house is all one floor, roll-in showers, large showers, bathrooms with grab bars on it, and so on. So right now, I don't need to do anything dramatic as far as improvements of the house, because the house was built like that. But for any of you, that's information that is going to be, I think, quite valuable, and it can make your life easier and, above all, make it safer. Carl, you've had your hand up there. Thank you for waiting.
Yes, again, the lifted seat in the bathroom works very well. VA installed that. And with my power wheelchair, which I'm using now, they were able to, we also had the sink in the bathroom modified and completely redone to allow wheelchair access to the sink.
Wonderful. Is this something that you use that special adaptive housing grant for? Did you use that allowance for that?
That was just through the VA.
Okay, it was probably part of that amount. Yeah. But the VA provided that for you. The VA paid for that.
Yes, the VA provided it. They also provided the companies to do the work.
Okay.
Meet the requirements.
Yeah, wonderful.
Jim?
Yes, sir.
May I just comment on that last piece there? So I looked into the housing adaptations. I don't have the title quite right. And I was talking to my veteran service officer, and she said, look, Byron, for what you want, you need a roll-in shower. And you can simply get your PCP to call prosthetics and have them take a look at your house. And without filing a new claim, I think you get up to $7,000 as long as it's a VA approved contractor. They come into your house, they will assess what your need is, and they'll redo your bathroom for you. So you have a roll-in shower, and if you need as the gentleman was saying, work on your sink or sink access. They'll do all of that up to the dollar amount, which I want to think I want to remember it's about 7,000. And if you're using those funds, it's something that it's not part of that larger benefit that you were just speaking of. Anyway, if that's helpful.
Okay, thank you for that. Keep in mind that the amount of money that we discuss here, that we disclose here, is, I will tell you, it's most likely not universal. It will vary from location to location, depending upon the cost of living data that's in there. So what one person may get 6,000 for, the next veteran might get 8,000 for, so on and so forth. So just understand that those benefits are there. The amounts of money may vary, but the most important thing to understand is there are benefits out there for us that we can use. They're there. If you need to make improvements on your home, contact the VA, let them do it for us. And so with that, it is now, what is it, a little bit 20 after 12 out here, so it'll be 20 after 2 in the East Coast. We have covered a lot of territory. This has been a great informative meeting, and Jennifer and Rebecca were here, and we know that the interviews are going underway. We're looking forward to get those completed. The national academies are reviewing us. As Augie shared with us, the legislative aid for Congressman McCormick has been involved with talking with Secretary Doug Collins. It is looking quite favorable. It's going to take some time. We've fought for this for many, many years, and so another year might be in the books. Most likely it will be, but it's going in our direction, and it's going to make things easier for us, and certainly for the veterans that are just now diagnosed. They've still got to go through the through the gamut, through the maze of bureaucracy, but soon that's going to be removed, and it's going to make it so much easier for so many. If there are no other questions, comments, or requests, I'm going to go get another cup of coffee. And I hope all of you enjoy the rest of the weekend. March Madness is over, so I won't be glued to the television anymore. But to all of you, God bless. Welcome home. And you keep us informed. And thanks for sharing all your information. I'll close out the meeting now. Rachel, are you still with us?
She had to log off.
She had to log off. Okay. Let's see here. I got to find out where she was recording, if she was.
She is recording it.
Yeah, I want to cut it off, though. That's why I got to stop the recording.
I think when you sign off, Jim, it'll just cut off.
I think it stops.
Will it just go into the Bermuda Triangle then?
Yep.
Yeah. And she gets a link.
Okay.
Just make sure you don't flush the toilet before you turn it off.
All righty. We got it, guys. Again, thank you. God bless. Oh, hey, before we go, Rich.
Yes, sir.
How was your trip to Portugal? And obrigado for your participation there. Can you share a little bit about that?
Yeah, I'll be brief because I know you guys have been on for a while.
Yeah, let me interface this just a little bit for everybody. Rich participated in an international conference for myositis, and as the chairman of the board of the Myositis Association, he participated in it. It was in Lisbon, Portugal. Was that correct? Yeah. Correct. And so we have not heard any response from him. So I'm going to nail him here a little bit and tell him tell us a little bit about the conference and what might happen from it.
So the conference was amazing. This is I've been to a lot of myocons, the TMA conferences, but I've never been to GCOM, the Global Conference on Myositis. I think this is the third or the fourth one of these conferences. The last one was in Pittsburgh. The next one is in 2 years in Montreal. This was in Lisbon, Portugal. And it was a fantastic conference. I'll tell you, there was more brain power than I have ever seen or met in one place focused on myositis disease. Clinicians or researchers, biotech and pharma companies, patient advocacy organizations from around the world. So TMA had a great delegation led by myself. Paula Eichenbrenner, our executive director, was there. We had a couple of patient representatives, Lindsay Gunzel, who's went through CAR T for her dermatomyositis and is responding quite well to that. Dr. Aisha Hall and Linda Cobert from the TMA staff was there as well. So, and there were other patients, frankly, a few from the United States, several from Europe, etc. I learned a lot more science about myositis at this conference, but I will tell you my main takeaway, I shared this with my dad, was that there's more resources, dollars, people, attention coming into this disease than there were 5 years ago. The sheer number of clinical trials that are underway, testing various therapies underway right now is significantly higher than it was 10 years ago. And I would submit over the next 5 to 10 years that will continue to accelerate and accelerate rapidly. So I personally am very hopeful that we will see some real progress on this research front, whether it be a therapeutic that can slow down IBM or something further. But I was super impressed with the folks that were there. I'm super impressed with there's just a great deal of energy in this space, and more companies, more researchers, more smart people rather than less people aiming to do more in the myositis space. So, and that's got to be a good thing. The last thing I'll say, Jim, is that from a TMA perspective, the organization is more stable than it's been in a number of years, both financially and strategically. And one of the things I'm doing as chair is leading a focus around how do we drive growth and fundraising so that we can reinvest that back into mission impact for the community. So I'd love to be in a position in 5 years where we are giving double the amount of research grants that we do today.
I can give you some names of research scientists that would be forever grateful for receiving some research funds. I personally have sent them money to continue their research. One of which is Todd Cohen out of the University of North Carolina. For many years he's been concentrating his lab in the University of North Carolina. Todd Cohen has concentrated on both ALS and IBM, and it's something that he has been very, very helpful for veterans as well. And I would love to see some of that be directed to his efforts. He's helped us. I'd love to see us help him. And but thank you for sharing that, Rich. Was there any takeaway about? Typically the TMA, the annual patient conference with TMA has been about 400, 500 people. What did you estimate the attendance was at the international conference?
It was over 600.
About 600.
Yeah, it was over 600. I want to say it was like I think it might have been 650, but I'd need to go back and double check the specific numbers. It was a good turnout then. It was an excellent turnout, but keep in mind it's not It's not, it's predominant, it's a conference predominantly for clinicians and researchers and their staffs. I would say that no more than 10% of the attendees were patients.
Oh, okay. Very good. Thank you for sharing that with us, because I know your dad had said that you were going over there, and I was, I asked him, I said, maybe we can get Rich on here to share with us the thing, and you just fulfilled that. So,
Glad to do it.
thanks for doing that. Thanks for sharing the information with us.
Absolutely.
And again, to all of you, guys and gals, caregivers, wives, spouses, guests, thank you immensely for being part of this. We're going to keep you informed. A lot of things happening, a lot of good things happening. The reporters, the national academies, the VA acknowledging this is our goal, and it's all going to happen. And I'm going to tell you something. At the risk of sounding boastful for all of us, we are the ones who made this happen. Do not underestimate the importance of what we have contributed, each of us, to this. All of you, your ideas, your tips, your concerns, this is all collectively contributed to what is happening now. And I thank you all for being there for us. Guys, again, be well, be safe. God bless.
Thanks, Jim.
Thank you.